What would Jesus do if he visited the United States Senate? I think he would say, "Depart from me, for I was hungry, and you cut my food assistance. I was sick, and you kicked me off Medicaid. I was a stranger, and you deported me and my family." And then I think he would flip over those fancy desks and demand that we take care of all our neighbors, especially the least of these. Matthew 25 tells us exactly how we will be judged and how we will be saved. By feeding the hungry, by healing the sick, by welcoming the stranger, by visiting the prisoner. Nothing about going to church, nothing about reading the Bible, nothing about being a Christian, just helping others, just loving.
Austin State Rep and U.S. Senate candidate James Tallarico there, of course, from a recent campaign event. What would Jesus do indeed? It's Christmas Eve, Wednesday, December 23rd, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch. Rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier, and it should not come as a surprise at all that after years of trying to divert public school tax dollars derived from taxes paid by all of us Texans, regardless of our religion, upon finally winning the right to take those dollars and channel them to private schools, a great many of them parochial and church-based schools, that the white Christian-dominated state government of Texas's next move with school vouchers would be to exclude private schools that don't adhere to Anglo-Christian norms and doctrine from that program. Plus, here's an item that allows us to shine a rare spotlight on the very powerful and often overlooked office of state comptroller. Isaac Yu at the Houston Chronicle writes on a new move by Texas's acting comptroller Kelly Hancock to prevent certain private schools from joining the state's new $1 billion voucher program, specifically targeting institutions with alleged connections to the Chinese government or the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE. Hancock has formally called on Attorney General Ken Paxton to issue an expedited ruling on whether the state can disqualify private school applicants that have hosted CARE events or are controlled by foreign holding groups. All of this is in lockstep with Governor Greg Abbott's recent decision to designate CARE as a terrorist organization, a designation that the group is currently fighting in court. CARE's Texas chapter maintains that their school-based activities, such as Know Your Rights workshops, are lawful and protected by the First Amendment, and notes that penalizing schools or anyone else for promoting civil rights education raises serious constitutional concerns. While an opinion from Paxton would not be legally binding, it would provide the state with legal cover to exclude these schools from the state's new voucher program, all of this serving as an example of the kind of culture war crap we'll continue to live under should Kelly Hancock's campaign for a full term in the comptroller's office be successful next year. Yet another reason for Texans who are tired of it to consider making a change. 3 solid Democrats are running for comptroller. Houston ISD trustee Savant Moore, former Democratic Land Commissioner nominee Michael Lang, and Austin State Senator Sarah Eckhart. As the election draws near, it's a good time to refamiliarize yourself with this key role. The state comptroller is the chief financial officer of the state of Texas, elected independently under Texas's plural executive model, which means this elected official has massive control over the state's finances outside the control or the call of the governor. Having a Democrat in this office would provide an extremely consequential check on the whims of the Texas Republican regime. It is worth looking at. Loads of dirt in the divorce records of Ken Paxton and his soon-to-be ex-wife, State Senator Angela Paxton, as the official unsealing of those records comes accompanied by splashy tabloid reports of our state's top law enforcement official openly gallivanting around Aspen, Colorado, with his Christian influencer mistress, Tracy Duhan, earlier this month. The unsealed divorce records reveal a highly acrimonious and contentious split that arrives after 38 years of marriage. Angela Paxton, as you'll recall, filed for divorce on biblical grounds in July of 2024 after the Paxtons had appeared to have at least attempted to reconcile over the illicit affair that was central to Ken Paxton's 2023 impeachment. But that was with a whole other mistress. Senator Paxton blames the marriage's dissolution on her husband and seeks a disproportionate share of their estate, arguing that his higher earning power justifies a larger split for her. Her requests include exclusive use of their home and their Chevy Silverado, along with temporary financial support and the payment of her legal fees by Ken Paxton, who in response denies allegations of infidelity, despite widespread media coverage of his current affair with Tracy Duhan. And the AG counters that Senator Paxton should receive nothing in the settlement. This, of course, will end up a legal battle, not one having anything to do with fidelity or faith or anything else. And Ken Paxton fights those kind of battles without restraint or remorse. Viewing this through the lens of a Senate run against the much more buttoned down and scandal-free incumbent John Cornyn, it's an interesting moment to think about what the Texas MAGA base, amidst all their trappings of Christian faith and purity, will accept from their elected leaders in terms of their personal behavior and character. Cornyn has taken shots at Paxton over all of this recently, advising the AG to brush up on the 10 Commandments, but I'm not sure at all that the MAGA bunch is going to care about this divorce thing or its accompanying evidence of serial adultery in the slightest. This is a bunch that's still all in on Donald Trump, after all. How all of that plays across Texas in the general election might be a different story, and I hope it is for all of our sakes, but MAGA in Texas is used to leaders who display open hostility towards any limit on what they do. And that's what Ken Paxton is doing here. My personal opinion, it's not going to hurt him in the Republican primary. From another angle, and also offering an opinion that the Texas Republican primary voter base will certainly ignore, the editorial board at the San Antonio Express-News says they believe voters should flush Ken Paxton over his persistent transgender bathroom politics. The board believes that Paxton's recent establishment of a tip line for ratting out potential bathroom bill violators represents a new low in Paxton's political career, which of course is really saying something. Under Senate Bill 8, which mandates bathroom use based on birth, gender, and government buildings, Paxton's hotline encouraging citizens to submit photo evidence of infractions is downright creepy and potentially illegal. You'd think that the AG himself would know that Texas state law prohibits filming or taking pictures of people in public restrooms. The board condemns Paxton for exploiting vulnerable transgender individuals for political leverage, arguing that such tactics foster a culture of surveillance and fear rather than doing anything to address genuine public concerns. And they also note that Texans accepting this kind of policy indicates a broader civic ailment across our state and nation that's allowed figures like Paxton and Trump to remain in power despite the ongoing personal ethical controversies we've been talking about today. Interesting read, linked in the show notes. And we haven't picked on Ted Cruz enough lately, so here we go. Recent reporting from both The Independent and The Daily Beast are suggesting that Cruz is beginning serious consideration and planning for a 2028 presidential run in which he'd position himself as a traditionalist alternative to Vice President J.D. Vance. Wow, what a choice there. Vance has at least a loose grip for the moment on the populist wing of the MAGA base, so Cruz is said to be working on a plan to leverage his interventionist foreign policy and evangelical ties to impress the older school factions of the GOP. Might be an uphill primary for Ted. It's not just us progressives who find him loathsome. The likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene are openly not fans, and Cruz has recently had tangles with the MAGA Nutter influencer brigade as well, including Tucker Carlson. Cruz has been coy about these rumors so far, but it said that he's been privately trashing J.D. Vance to GOP donor types. Current polls don't look good for Ted. He's lingering in the single digits nationally, significantly behind J.D. Vance, but polls are polls, and a hell of a lot can happen between here and 2028. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the billionaire and corporate-funded conservative disinformation machine, and we rely largely on listener support to keep doing what we do. While we enjoy the support of hundreds of partners, chances are that you, dear listener, haven't joined the team yet. If you're a regular, let's get you on board as a monthly supporter like John Adebayam, Andrea Luttrell, and Gary Potts all have. We appreciate all of you very, very much. Join our team at ProgressTexas.org. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Wednesday, December 23rd, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit, rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media in action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and a terrific Christmas holiday. Taking a few days off from the Daily Dispatch. I will be back with you on Monday, December 29th. Be safe and merry until then.